TRON fan. He has an absolute, in mint condition TRON machine, video game, the arcade one, the old arcade game, and all kinds of memorabilia. I mean, that's what's exciting about it.
And that's what
and
gives
we're
it the
passing
heart.
the torch to the new generation, I think. A young man named Garrett Hedlund, who's been in numerous films, but this one's going to give him the big showcase. And I think he makes an excellent new Tron type character. And Olivia Wilde, you've seen her on House, and she's just gorgeous and wonderful, and you know.
And Jeff?
And Jeff.
And Jeff. Young Jeff
is,
and old, and not I won't say old
yes.
Jeff because he's still 35, just like you, Bruce.
Current
Right.
Jeff.
That's right. No, he is excellent. He's, you know, of all the people I've gotten to work with, and that's many, I treasure that because he's just the same genuine guy he was back then, and you know, that'll never change. So.
I'd be remiss if Bruce, I didn't ask you at least one Babylon 5 question. Because that was your return back to, back to
and
the
I
genre.
have my other wife, Furlon, is here.
I'm mad that
What is that all about?
I don't know. I didn't make the schedule. I was really. I said, Walters, what are you doing to me?
Yeah.
But such a great cast, and one of those was Richard Biggs, who unfortunately passed away a few years after the completion of the show.
Mm-hmm.
What's your? Can you give me an anecdote of working with Biggs and just a fantastic human being?
Yeah, he was. He was a warm, wonderful guy that crushed us all when he suddenly passed away. We started going to, I got introduced to these conventions through Babylon 5. I know they'd been going on for some time before that, and I'd never experienced it before. But Biggsy was one of those guys that made it always a lot of fun. He was he played Dr. Franklin as a very, very conscientious, compassionate young man, and he was never much of a party animal, but Biggs was. Biggs would be off to go dancing on the table with always adoring female fans, whether it was in England or wherever we were. And just a great soul who enjoyed life and was a consummate actor. His role was always there. He was always prepared, always good to be in a scene with. You were getting 100% from him all the time. I don't know what else you can say about a performer. He was a pro, and I don't believe he ever said a bad word about anybody that I ever heard. And he left a beautiful woman and 2 baby boys. Who I just saw her, by the way, in Denver over the Christmas time, and both his sons look so much like little Rick. I'm telling you, 2 little Ricks come back into the world. So, anyway, that's it.
They brought you onto the show in the 2nd season, and by that time, the show had already gotten a pretty decent fan base. You're replacing a popular character, and you're looking at a show that has a 4-year arc after it. When you're looking at the script, your agent says, okay, well, they want to bring you in. Joe Michael Straczynski has this idea for your character that'll go on for decades after the show even ends. What was your reaction when you were looking at that script for the first time going, do I really want to do this?
Oh, no, I did. I did. I saw the show. I saw a couple episodes when it was on, And then they sent me a bunch of cassettes. I'm talking the 90s now. The hair wasn't as big. Maybe it was, I don't know. Mine was getting gray. But I got some scripts, and I think there were a lot of fingerprints all over from previous people. I was doing nothing. I was in a period of nothing much was going on. And so I was desperate. No, I had seen the show, and what I liked about it, how it was not Star Trek. And I'm putting Star Trek down, but it was not. And it had it seemed maybe it had been a little more low budget. I could tell being a filmmaker, but I liked it that it had a darker look to it. And it wasn't this optimistic thing, new frontier, thing. It was. We're dragging our baggage all over the universe, and human problems, and you know, it just had a whole different vibe to it. And then I went over. See, I'd worked with Doug Netter. I had done a Western miniseries with Sam Elliott for Doug. And when Michael was going to leave the show, they were casting around, and I think there were a number of guys. That's why I say there were fingerprints all over the scripts. But when I read them, he was kind of, I think his name was John Stryker. Had a little bit of the Lord of the Rings. Strider, there was a Strider, there was a Stryker. You have to understand, every leading character, the leading man had to be a JMS. You know that? Yeah, we never found out John Sheridan's middle name, did we? Would have been John Marshall Sheridan. But anyway, I walked around the sound stages at the studio there. It was an old hot tub factory in North Hollywood that they had converted. Many series have been shot there since. The only way you could tell, it still said Aquatech out in front. And it was in an industrial area. And the only way you could tell was where the extras parked. It had a little crossing, and it had these odd little characters walking across the sentient crossing. little aliens crossing. But it was a wonderful world there that we created. And I loved it. I got on it right away. As soon as I took a tour of the thing, Doug took me on a tour of the thing, and I was hooked right away. Right away. I said, no, I want. Plus, I got to stay home. I had been going to Canada forever and ever, doing these 2-hour movies of the week. And then that genre died out. And a lot of us didn't work. And so this opportunity was not only financial, it was great for my family, my home life. I was just wooing my second wife. Oh boy. And Melissa, strangely enough, got a series for NBC. Mine kept going, she didn't. And so it worked out perfectly for us. I got to stay home, and my children were growing up. So it answered a lot of things in my life. It gave me, I think, the best character I ever got to play. And that's the truth. I mean, I love Tron and all, but John Sheridan kicked ass.
Well, he transcended. I mean, how many characters get to transcend humanity? It's Caradula and you.
Yes, I know. You know, I got to do everything from A to Z. You know, every range of emotion and dramatic thing. And so,
I want to throw it up to the audience. Once again, I really want to thank you guys for sitting up here and enduring my questioning, but they have much harder questions. You know, let's go with you first.
I've just been a fan since Air Princess came, which was a lot of fun to watch. And I was just wondering if you had any anecdote or anything from that show you'd like to share.
well, strangely enough, I just got a month or more ago, Kate Jackson called me out of the blue. Frankly, I had not physically seen her for 25 years. Or when the last day on that show, when she had to leave it. It was 1987, and we had easily a couple more seasons left. We were still doing very well in the ratings, and she'd become ill. And I don't think it's a big secret. She had gotten breast cancer. 1980s in our industry, you could not mention cancer. It was not only somewhat of a death sentence by the disease, but it was a career death sentence. John Wayne, I think, is the only one who was big enough to say he had the big C and could still work. He coined that phrase, in fact. But she called me out of the blue. And just so happens also, Scarecrow and Mrs. King has finally come out on DVD these many years later. What were they waiting for?
Music clearance.
Till I'm
I
dead.
can answer that. It was music clearance because
Really?
yeah, half of the music that they used in the show they couldn't get rights. It's the same thing with WKRP, and even still, you can't get the full music.
What did we
clearance.
use it?
It was the cover tunes. No.
Bonehead thought that up. I mean, no, I love that thing, but I mean, you know, okay, well, that may be the case. I talked to the guy when we were doing the Babylon 5, The Lost Tales DVD up in Vancouver, the new guy that had taken over Warner Home Video.